Hi everyone, and welcome back to another art appreciation video. This is my second video trying to showcase artists that inspire me, and hopefully I will make a more comprehensive development every time I do one of these. Today, by coincidence or cosmic alignment, I have another painter from the Austrian Empire. I am talking of no other than Czech painter Alfons Mucha. Ironically, I have visited Madrid the last consecutive 3 years, and I found out there was a Mucha exhibition in Madrid days after having returned home. If I can recall, it was from October 2017 until February 2018. It opened right after I was there, and it was going to be over way before I even planned to go back, so I missed my chance to see his work in detail up close. Yeah, I missed the real deal. I was devastated to say the least. On my next visit last year, I had the opportunity to visit Madrid's National Library, and in between the several books for sale at their store, I found a book of Alfons Mucha, and I had to buy it. This book has become one of my prized possessions in my personal library because of the author's ability to tell Mucha's life. As you saw, there are countless of very bright pictures of a selection of his works. Alfons Mucha was born on July 14, 1860, in a little town, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Ivanchitze, in the south of Moravia. Moravia was one of the Slavic provinces of the Austrian Empire. He was the fourth son to Andrei Mucha, a judicial usher, and first child to Amalia Mala, daughter of a moliner from Burishov, second wife to Andrei. His childhood was surrounded by wars, foreign invasions, and religious fights. From the very young age of 6, the deployment of Prussian soldiers and their horses impacted him to an extent of considering them representatives of an antique and heroic war, with their striking and colorful uniforms. But the horrors of war and disease it brought ended up scarring him when in the middle of everything a cholera outbreak happened and the strong soldiers turned into worn-down and yellowish skeletons. It is probably this experience that marked him so profoundly, which influenced his masterpiece, this LAPSE epic, to give form to his vision of death and to the sense of war. Provided with a curious mind, much further in life he wrote, "When I was a child, I was always concerned with observing my surroundings, though it seemed, even it was at most times, like I have my sight lost in the empty space before me." And also, in his own words, "I registered faithfully everything out of the ordinary, whether it was through drawing or painting, or simply by staying conscious about it." Thanks to his passion for drawing even before being able to walk, it made him turn himself into an exceptional illustrator. For his service as an altar boy and being a choir member with a great singing ability, he acquires a scholarship to receive a higher education. Mentored by his professor and also painter, Josef Zeleny, he applied for entry to the Academy of Fine Arts in Prague. Curiously, his application was rejected and it was suggested from the Academy for him to choose another career. 1 year after, with 19 years old, a classified ad from Kautsky Brioche Burgard, a company dedicated to theater decorations in Vienna, appeared in the newspapers looking for a painter for their workshop. He answered the ad and was offered the job as a set painter apprentice. In my opinion, here it is when his true development as a painter, with profound emotions in the messages of his paintings, to every theme and topic he represented, and the daintiness of the female figure came to flourish. My first approach to his work was with his famous series, The Seasons, Published in 1896, it was a group of 4 posters with images of women personifying the 4 seasons. His work captivated me with his smooth washes of color and his extreme attention to detail. What pops out the most is his use of the materials to give his overall palette that creamy and almost transparent feeling. His drawing skills are astounding. Looking at the composition of most of his well-known pieces of work, they consist of the main subject, generally women, as the main focus of the whole, and contained in a grandiose and elaborate frames with his personal style. As we see in his series The Seasons, his frames are complex and delicate, showing how he shows nature as his main source of inspiration for them. You can see flowers, branches, and leaves woven in an intricate design. The feminine figures are generally shown wearing folkloric check dresses and jewelry. These details are also replicated in other works like the Zodiac, in which the ornamentation in her head is evidence of his patriotic fervor with the Czech-inspired crown. His work transcended the barriers of fine arts to graphic arts, interior designs, advertisements, and even fashion design, influencing a great group of artists from the era, and his personal style was the precursor and creator of the iconic movement of Art Nouveau. As an artist myself, I feel identified with most of his life and experiences in the art world. Mucha found himself rejected and praised equally all along his career, and adding to that, his talent comes from hard work and personal development, non-conforming with replicating the art being produced in the era, but producing his own vision and trying to transmit his own meanings in his pieces. Like I mentioned before, in his more commercial pieces, advertisements or artistic, we can see the evidence of his nostalgia for his nation, having spent a great deal abroad. For me, most of his work shows some hidden sadness and longing behind the gentle and apparently happy expressions. Excessively ornate backgrounds and frames, more to his favor than in his detriment, perfectly complements the central figures without overloading the composition, nor affecting our sight with so many details, juxtaposing the serenity from the main subject's expression over the elaborate background, creating the ideal balance in design and aesthetic. I think it's important to highlight before finishing what I believe he considered was his most important work of art as an artist and as a painter, the Slav epic, in which he works since his conceptualization while he long stayed in Paris and came to show his strong patriotism. He was criticized by other Czech painters who saw him as an intruder, considering Mucha had basically no moral ground to comment or suggest that Czech artists should infuse their art with a national identity, independent from the current styles and voices from abroad. The fact that he had been absent from his land almost intermittently was negative to his reputation and his career in his nation. His experience abroad supplied him with the tools and sensibility for the realization of such an ambitious work. He studied and researched the history of his nation, documenting with photographs and observing everything, resulting in these extraordinary paintings with great force in their elements, depicting sad passages of local history and giving an encouraging light to his people. In his last painting of the Slav epic, The Apotheosis of the Slavs, Slavs for Humanity, we can easily admire his technical skills. The painting, made with egg tempera and oil, delivers subtle and effective contrast of the four colors and the play of lights and shadows, having the several scenes depicted woven together. By looking at this painting, you can feel the hope, message, and the brotherhood of for the slabs between each other and towards humanity, blessed, protected, and guided by the figure of the Christ in the background, above all the subjects displayed. I believe with these paintings he vindicated his image in the artistic circle in his nation. Undoubtedly, reading about the life of an artist, learn about his story, and look for the hints of it in his work and career has been an extremely enriching experience for me as an artist myself, leaving me with more needs to develop my work to its best, with every illustration, drawing, and painting, with all the difficulties that come with the whole thing of trying to make a living and a successful career in the arts, to value my work for what it is and whether it satisfies me or not, than expecting others to give them value. Art is so subjective that it all depends on the eyes of the spectator, and most of the times what we like not necessarily match with what others like. Because art transcends time, and whatever we do will be a permanent testament of our imagination, creativity, and culture. Using his work as inspiration for this illustration have left me with the satisfaction that as artists we can represent the world for what it is, but also as what we want it to be. I hope you like my little rendition to the genius Alfons Mucha was. Please don't forget to like this video, and remember you can follow me on Instagram at Gerardo Canova, and if you want to support my creative journey, you can do it by subscribing to my Patreon, where you can get exclusive content like this one before it hits anywhere else. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.